Okay, hi everyone. There's a lot to talk about on this topic, so I'm just gonna get straight into it. Today I'm going to talk about masturbation. I'm going to talk about sexual energy and manifestation, exploiting sexual energy, and energetic chords. And I got my window open here, so I hope. And there's a lot of like city and country noise going on at the same time, so hopefully this comes through. Yesterday, actually a few days, like the last few days, I've been having this like huge realization, all connected to sexual energy. Probably specifically because I have a large part of my energetic being is sexual energy, and I'm working with that energy as well. So I'm just through my own experiences, I'm like coming to really learn and understand a lot more about it because I'm understanding a lot more about myself. And so yeah, yesterday I talked about it a little bit in the first live that kind of just fell in my lap. But I wanted to make a video to go much more in depth with it so that there's a lot that I'm gonna unpack here. And I'm really hoping that the video like kind of makes it through this platform, because there's a chance that it can. So I'm just gonna use my words to create a spell here and say, you guys will see this video. All right, I am just gonna go ahead and get started. So I'm just gonna say a couple things first. We'll just start out with a couple of things. The first thing is sexual energy, okay? Sexual energy is creative energy. So another way to say creative energy would basically be like manifestation, because whenever you create something, whenever you manifest something, you are creating something, okay? And the next thing I wanted to say, I just want to start off with, is manifestation. Like a simple formula for manifestation is intention. Like if you want to manifest something, here's what you do to manifest that thing. Manifestation is intention plus emotion towards that intention, that thing you want to manifest, and imagination or your desire. Okay, so we're just gonna just leave those things there and then I'm gonna go ahead and start talking about why I decided to how I got into the last few days, like the flow of coming to this realization, I think it is, and my own personal experiences, because really through all of this, like I've done a bit of research on all of this now, but mostly what's informing me about everything that I'm talking about is it's mostly my personal experiences, both in my personal life and in my healing experiences now, and my learning and understanding of energy in general. So yeah, a couple nights ago I was having a conversation with a friend, and that conversation led to us talking about masturbation, and I don't know where it came from. It just started flowing out of me. These thoughts that I had I didn't actually ever think these things before. The intel just kind of came in, and I just started talking about how basically here was my initial thought. Whenever somebody masturbates, thinking about somebody else or with this other thing or person in mind, we are then creating this energetic cord to that person. And then wouldn't it also make sense that we are also, if you follow energy in this way, and you believe that sexual energy is creative energy and it is sacred, right? Like it is something to be treasured and respected. Then if we are not using it in a sacred way, it can also be robbing this other person or this other thing of their own creative sexual energy, their ability to manifest, basically. So it just came, this just kind of came out of me, and it sounded really right and logical at the time. And then later I was like, is that right? It sounds right. I don't know. It just came out of me. So I started doing more research, and I really didn't find that much, to be honest. And I have my own ideas about why I didn't find that much on this topic. Sex is a thing. It's it is a part of daily life in our world now. And it's used. Sex is used to control and entice and get you to buy things, right? So that's all I'm going to say about that. I really want to talk more about the energy side of all of this, and what I was like getting into. I think this stuff is pretty, yeah, I don't think you guys, maybe, I don't know, some of you might not like to hear this, but I also was just like, ugh, I don't like that I came to this realization either, but it makes sense to me, so I'm going to share it. So with my own personal experience, okay, I'm just going to start with like the chakra system and what I do in my healing work, okay? So we have these chakras, and most people count 7 chakras. I count 8 because the solar plexus you have here, and the umbilical, this part, like this whole part right here is solar plexus, and then right here for me that's sacral, and then below, like a spine, the base of your spine and below is root chakra, okay? But this area right here is so big that it's just like sometimes I'll be doing, I have to count both the solar plexus, and then I call this one right here the umbilical chakra, okay? Because this is your personal power amongst other things, and then this belly button right here, that's how we were born into the world, was with this connection to our mother. So this right here, this energy center, I count 2 in the solar plexus. This umbilical and energy center is literally where we are giving and receiving energy to and from other people, right here. And the reason that I count both of these, there are a couple of reasons. One is because the area here is so big, and both of these kind of like, they have a lot to do with each other, but they also you know, can be distinguished, like they're also very unique. And another reason that I count both is because sometimes when I scan people's chakras before I do, and even my own as well, one will be positive and the other will be negative. So that tells me that they are different energy centers, and it is important to look at both of them. Like we have, aside from all of the main chakras in our bodies, we have, we have plenty of other chakras in our bodies as well. But those are the main ones, and I count 8, I don't count 7. So in doing this work, I have found that in myself personally and also in other people, one of them will be positive and the other one will be negative. Okay, so, and a part of my healing process is in the energetic cleansing part, I cleanse the person's energy, and then after that I cut all the cords from the person. And that cord cutting has a huge part to do with this area right here, this umbilical area. So this one right here is where I can see if somebody has these like cords with other people and they need a deeper cleanse because there are blockages there for some reason. Either somebody is connecting to their energy, my energy, or this person is connecting to somebody else's energy. Like it goes both ways. So just a couple of things from my own experience, like my own personal experience from the last couple of months, the last few months. I went through a breakup the last few months, and in that breakup, I was not actually with the other person when the breakup was happening, but I did receive, like now I'm like very, very sensitive. The more that I work with energy, the more that the more that I come into these healing abilities, the more that I can feel things from everywhere, right? And if I have an energetic cord already created with somebody that I like loved, then during that breakup, I will definitely feel the emotions, the feelings that the other person has toward me or toward the situation. If that person is thinking about me, remember, manifestation is intention, which sometimes intention, you don't even actually need intention. Sometimes it's just emotion and desire or your imagination. Sometimes it's even just emotion, and you create this energetic cord with somebody. So during the breakup, I felt all the rage from that person. I felt all the sadness. I felt the confusion. It all, like, it came to me, and that was good practice for me. At the same time, my instructor that I was taking the course with was going through some stuff in his personal life, and I'm like living and spending a lot of time around this person, and so all of that stuff like hit me right here in the heart chakra, and so any connection that you have with somebody, and this is why sometimes, like, I will just know that I need to contact my mom, for example. Or like, you think about somebody and you're just like, I wonder if this person's okay. You have the people that you are close to. If we do not cut those cords, we feel the things that those people feel, and we just don't know it sometimes, right? I have now cut the cords with my family because I want to walk freely within my own energy. I want to be independent, right? So we have to learn how to do this cord cutting process for ourselves as well. Anyway, so yeah, just a couple of quick, easy examples of how only emotion alone will create these energetic cords from us to other people, or from them to us, right? So, and I had to write a bunch of this stuff, and it's just like so much, right? So our thoughts and our feelings and our imaginations and our imagination about others creates an instant cord with them. We can now establish that, right? So my question is, are we exploiting sexual energy in this way in ourselves and in others? Okay? Exploiting it, whether it's intentional or not. Okay? I'm gonna just go back to the creation idea. This is why the twin flame connection, if you believe in twin flames, and having intercourse in general is so powerful, because you can literally create a baby out of the sexual energy that you are channeling in that moment, that you are really embodying in that moment. We create human beings with that energy. That's why it's called creative energy. Okay? And I think we also know that the more energy that we put into something, the more time and energy that we spend on something, the more powerful it makes that energy going towards it, and the faster that it will get manifested. I did post a question like this on my story a couple weeks ago, and 100% of people that responded, 100% of people said, yeah, I know that. Like, the more energy and time I put into something, the more it will be, like, the quicker I can manifest it. Okay, so now we can, like, kind of agree, maybe, I hope, that sexual energy is powerful, okay? Because if, right, let's just take this masturbation, right? A lot of people masturbate thinking about other people. It's your imagination, a lot of times emotion and desire, okay? And and intention. If somebody like really wants to have that person that they're thinking about, right? You are manifesting lots of stuff there with your sexual energy. And if nothing else, you're manifesting an energetic cord to that person just by thinking about them, okay? So, before I like move a little bit forward into this, I want to say that there is a way to masturbate. You know, if we are not in a relationship, or if you are in a relationship and that's still something that you want to do, I found something that's called sacred masturbation, and you don't think about anybody else. It's literally just masturbation. That is, you're propelling your sexual and creative energy into something that is channeled with love for yourself. Okay, and you can actually use this creative energy to manifest and create incredible things. Like, if you are thinking about these things while you are utilizing this sexual energy, and I'm only talking about masturbation, I'm not talking about like doing creative things like art and stuff like that, but if we use this energy while we are if we use this sexual energy while we're like pleasuring ourselves to we're thinking about something, we're manifesting that thing with our emotion, our intention, and our imagination, we can that energy is so freaking powerful, right? It can create a baby that it can also create a lot of other things if you use it in a way that is beneficial. And when I say beneficial, I literally just mean like you're not using that to satisfy this like hunger that is basically like just relief. Because if we're using this energy, if we're masturbating just to feel that sexual energy and then release, just get it, like, make it go away, we're also just kind of wasting it. I mean, if that's what, maybe you don't think that, but I say wasting because you can literally be using it for so many good things, and when you're using it to think about somebody else, it can create that energetic cord, and then by depleting, just using it for a release, you know, you are also tapping into that other person's sexual energy and can potentially be harming their, you know, depleting their sexual energy as well, just by creating that cord with that person. Okay, so yeah, if we don't do it selfishly, thinking about somebody else, we're not doing it just like for the sole purpose of release or whatever, we're not wasting it. Okay, it's not just gone after that. The idea is to use that energy and propel it towards something, right? So, but if we're wasting it, then we're just creating this cord with somebody else with that underlying energy of desire, and especially if that person doesn't know. Yeah. So my question is, does it also actually affect the other person? And like, how? I've been doing research, like I've been really trying to figure out if this is true. I've talked to some people about this, been doing some reading as well, and I really can't find that much about it, but here's my thought, right? If we create a cord, if we're thinking about somebody, just from my own personal experience, I know that like this happens. I create a cord with somebody just with my emotions, okay? Unless I've cut that cord and it's like really, really, it's healed now. It's not there anymore and I'm protecting myself from that. Say somebody else, though, continues to think about me in any way, right? With any emotion, that then will affect my solar plexus. Sometimes I'm like totally fine, I'm totally okay, like all my other chakras are balanced except for that one, and I'm just like, what? What is going on? So that's because somebody else thinking about us can actually, if we have not cut that cord yet, or we didn't do a very good job cutting that cord, or we still allowed for that cord to be connected again, through our thoughts and emotions about that person because we didn't actually detach, then the cord is there, right? So thinking about somebody just with that thought in mind, actually masturbating, right? You are then connecting your umbilical, your energy there, and if you're thinking about it with sexual energy, it will also like be moving towards that. This is just like kind of where my thoughts have gone, or my like the the logic, what I know and don't actually know, have gone. Would it not also make sense that if those emotions can affect my heart chakra from somebody else, those emotions can affect all the different energy centers in my body, they can also affect my sexual energy and what I am feeling. Somebody else is tapping into that. So I know now from my own personal experience, rage reaches me, okay? I feel it. It burns my skin sometimes and it hurts my heart. I know that sadness reaches me. It really hurts me here and it hurts me right here. It's also this like really heavy, deep, uncomfortable feeling, okay? And then there have also been a couple of instances where sexual energy, even if I knew that, like, even if I was interacting in this sexual energy exchange with somebody else, because there have been times, and if you're long distance, definitely like there is interference over over these social media platforms. Okay, there is energy interference. So if you're doing stuff over video call, if you are doing stuff texting somebody, there's interference at that time. There have been a few instances for me when I was exchanging sexual energy with somebody and it was over these platforms. more specifically, actually, WhatsApp. WhatsApp is one of the worst ones. And even if my sexual energy, I knowingly am allowing the other person to like be connecting with it. Sometimes the energy that reached me felt really, really gross. It was really uncomfortable, and I never felt this before in my life, or if I felt it, I didn't actually understand. I wasn't able to identify what it was. But this is for a couple of different reasons. The first one can be interference. There is lots of energy interference on these platforms. It's there and it's just waiting to like feed. It's just waiting. Sexual energy is probably the most exploited energy like ever. And another reason why this can feel gross is because if the person that you are exchanging this energy with is not balanced, that person can be seriously affecting your sexual energy as well. If you're not balanced, like you're really not doing well, and you're exchanging this energy with somebody, and there's like energetic interference, even if you're not, right? Even if you're not on the internet, you're like in person with somebody. Anybody that we exchange sexual energy with, we are tapping into all of the energy that is going on in them as well. So, yeah, we have to be careful. That's why I'm saying, like, that's why I've come to start calling it like sacred sexual energy, because it is literally, it's energy that is a life force for us. We use this energy to create. We use this energy to manifest. It's our life force. It's like our life force energy, right? And if we are exchanging this energy with somebody that, you know, in a way we're like exploiting this energy, if we're exchanging it with somebody that is not well, if we're not well, it's just like a whole clusterfuck basically of this energy exchange. And in that way, we are exploiting this energy. We are not respecting it. We are not like using it carefully. We're not being smart about how we use this energy. So I will explain about the person that I was exchanging this energy with the last like 4 to 6 months. And I didn't realize at the time why it felt so disgusting. I knew that there's energy interference. I know that there's energy interference on these platforms, but I didn't realize what was actually going on with this person. If somebody has an entity that has taken over their being, okay, they don't know it, you don't know it, but when you exchange this energy with somebody, it feels disgusting afterward. There is a reason for that. Okay, I've already explained a couple of reasons. When somebody is not well, the reason that I found out in my life is because the person that I was with, they had an entity or two, I don't know how many, but at least one, controlling them. And that energy comes through and affects me as well. So it will feel yucky and gross and bad. And if it feels like that, when you're exchanging this energy with somebody, there's a reason, and it's time to take a step back and check out what the fuck is going on. So yeah, that came through for me. It didn't feel good. I think it is really important for us to be just careful in general, regardless of sexual energy. Like literally what we think about people, whether they feel it or not, whether they have opened themselves up to this energy sensitivity or not, those thoughts and those feelings and your imagination, those thoughts, those feelings, and our imagination reaches people just by thinking about people. Telepathy is real. When you think about somebody and then they think about you and you call each other and you guys are like, oh my god, I was just thinking about you. That's because it's telepathy. Like you just created an energetic cord with that person and it makes sense. Our thoughts, our emotions, and our imagination when people are masturbating, when you are thinking about somebody else, when you're using that energy, we have to be really careful about that. I did not want to I really, this realization, when it came to, it was like quite uncomfortable, because then that means also like anybody who's using that energy and like specifically has me in mind, you know, that's uncomfortable for me. That means that a lot of those times too, when both my umbilical and my sacral chakra, your sacral is like your sexual energy center right there, were negative, and I am like over here totally loving on myself and taking care of my sacred sexual energy, right? And sometimes those were both blocked, and I was like, what is going on? I had no idea. And this is one of the explanations, totally could be. I have cords with people that I just never even thought of that are still there. Okay, people from your whole life, if you haven't cut cords with them, with their energy, and even if you have, you continue allowing yourself to like create another cord with that person, then it's totally possible for that to happen. So yeah, I think we just need to be really careful about anything that we think, anything that we feel, anything that we imagine that has to do with other people, because those things reach those people, and I mean, whether they're good or bad, right? Whether they're positive or negative thoughts, you know, thinking about this now, I just kind of feel like maybe like it's just a good idea for us to, like, sometimes we can't really help those thoughts, that imagination, it just happens, right? But you can help what you're thinking about. We can have some control over what we decide to do when we are channeling this sexual energy. So yeah, I think that we should just be a bit more careful about how we are using that energy, because whether we know it or not, we intend it or not, we like it or not, it definitely reaches other people. And one more thing. I did, in my research, I was trying to find people that talked about this. I think that it's also important for us to take a good fine-tooth comb, a good, nice, critical look at, like, you know, take a look at who we're following and who is talking about these energy things, because yesterday when I was doing some research, I came across a very, very well-known, I'm not going to say her name, spiritual person. She talks about everything. She talks a lot about chakras. She talks a lot about energy on her website. And I was trying to find how, like, through channeling this, you know, embodying this sexual and using this sexual energy, if it affects other people. And the only thing she talked about is how when we use it just for the release in ourselves, you know, we are wasting it and therefore kind of exploiting our own sexual energy. But she had nothing to say about how it affects other people. And neither did anybody else. Nobody else talked about this. And I find it really incredible, but that's, you know, just one way that I think we can be critical of who we're following and who we're getting this information from, because a lot of it can be a whole lot of truth, but it's not like, I mean, who really knows what the whole truth is, right? But they're not giving all of the details. How would you not think to talk about with masturbation, because so many people do that with a thought in mind. Like, we are using our imaginations and often other people in mind. How do you not talk about that if you are a very popular spiritual, like a spiritual person? You have a big following. How can you not tell people about that? That is actually a detrimental thing. It's like, it very much affects other people when we do this. So that person, yeah, definitely not interested in hearing what she has to say anymore, because I think there are some lies masked in there with a whole bunch of the good stuff that she shares. And I know she knows that this is a thing, she just doesn't talk about it. If she knows all this other stuff, she also knows this. If I came up with this on my own, like, it's really not that hard. A lot of people know this, they just decide not to share it. So anyway, I am really curious to know, because I don't actually, right? I know nothing at the end of the day. All I know is what comes through me and makes sense to me. So if anybody has thoughts on this, your personal experience, you know, does it make sense to you? Does it not make sense to you? Would love for you to share, either in the comments or DM me, please, because I'm pulling from my own personal experience, right? Like, I now believe that this is true, but it's always helpful for research purposes to hear from other people's experiences, like what has affected them, and start like linking other things together in the meantime. So if you made it to 30 minutes, almost 31 minutes, thank you so much. And I hope this was helpful, if not, at least informative. Love you guys.